faces. I'm looking at the fan reaction, and a lot of fans appear to be out for today's game. A lot of fans are putting in their own personal injury report. Out. Open parentheses, no Caitlin Clark, close parentheses.
Stop and think about what you just heard. A whole game was shown across the country on TV, and the fans are making their own injury report. And the injury is, no Caitlin Clark, so I'm out. Not the team's injury report, the fans' report. That should tell you something is very strange about where this league really is right now. Because a healthy league does not live or die because of one 23-year-old guard. This one might. And by the end of this, the numbers will show you exactly how much. Let's start with the thing nobody can hide, the empty seats.
I'm taking a look at tickets. Thousands of tickets still available. But even worse than that, the tickets that are available, dirt cheap. You can sit in the 100 sections for $28, for $50, and even those tickets aren't selling.
$28, $50 for a 100-level seat near the floor at a game shown across the country on TV, and they still can't sell them. Thousands of tickets are still sitting there unsold, and even the cheap ones, the good cheap ones, are not going either. Now, here's why that matters. Price is a signal. When a 100-level seat falls to the price of a movie ticket and still does not sell, the market is telling you the demand was never really about the two teams on the court. People were not buying a Fever ticket, they were buying a Caitlin Clark ticket. Take her out of the lineup, and you find out what the rest of the product is worth in the open market. Tonight, it seems, it is worth less than dinner, and that feeling did not come from nowhere. It starts with a coaching decision fans are still angry about.
Furthermore, with how this team, how this organization, how this coach doesn't protect their star player, it ain't good. Stephanie White waits for Caitlin Clark to get injured to finally stick up to the refs, to finally call out the officiating. Too little, too late.
This is the part that really hurts for Fever fans, and it is fair for them to be upset about it. The criticism goes like this. The organization waited. It waited until Clark was already injured before it finally spoke up about the officiating, before it finally said the hits she had been taking all season were too much. And to many people, that feels backwards. You protect your star before she ends up on the trainer's table, not after. Now, to be fair, coaches will say they cannot control how a game is called, and injuries happen to everyone. That is true, and it matters to say it. But perception matters too. And the feeling here is that the people whose whole job is to protect this player found their voice about a week too late. When your biggest asset, the one selling every ticket and every ad spot, gets hurt, and the response feels reactive instead of protective, fans notice. And some of them are voting with the remote. Which brings us to the network that placed its Sunday nights on all of this.
Many fans are saying, okay, you don't want me here? Okay, I won't be here. Let's take a look, shall we? Status report for tomorrow's game, tonight's game now, at Las Vegas. They're in Las Vegas, ESPN, prime time, part of this new Sunday night package that ESPN has put together. ESPN got rid of Sunday night baseball for Sunday night WNBA. No Caitlin Clark versus no A'ja Wilson.
This decision looks very different tonight than it did a few months ago. ESPN moved aside Sunday night baseball, a tradition that had been around for decades, to make room for Sunday night games in this league. That was a real gamble. It was a network looking at the Caitlin Clark boom and saying, this is the future. We're building a primetime package around it, and tonight, that package has no Caitlin Clark and no A'ja Wilson. Think about that from the point of view of someone planning the schedule. You gave up a proven and dependable summer program, and on one of your biggest Sunday nights, both of your top stars are sitting out. That is the risk you take when you build everything around star power instead of the sport itself. When the stars play, you look brilliant. When they do not, you are left with a lineup nobody was excited enough to stay up for, and the ratings are starting to say the quiet part out loud.
I wonder if ESPN's regretting that decision now. I wonder if ESPN is regretting that decision now. Last week's game that Caitlin Clark didn't play, believe that was a CBS game that did about 1.56 million, which was down roughly 600,000 from the last CBS game in a comparable window against the Liberty. It was down 600,000. So though the number was still good, we are seeing a decline.
Now we get to the number, and this is the one people should really pay attention to. The number being mentioned for the last game Clark missed was about 1.5 million viewers. That sounds okay by itself, but here is the comparison that really matters. That same kind of time slot with a similar matchup and Clark available was said to be about 600,000 viewers higher. Same league, same kind of spot. One thing changed, and around 600,000 people changed their plans. I want to be careful here. Those are the numbers being repeated in the coverage, not final audited numbers. So do not hold too tightly to the exact digits. But even in a general way, that gap is huge. That is not some tiny difference. That is a part of the audience, the size of a mid-sized city, moving based on whether one person puts on her shoes to play. No other player in this league changes the numbers like that, and it is not even very close. So the question the league should quietly be scared of is not how do we grow, it is what happens on the day she is not available, and how often will that happen. Tonight is a live test.
All I wanted this year was to watch Caitlin play basketball. I guess it was too much to ask for. Already missing our third game. What you meant to say is Caitlin Clark is out with back issues because Stephanie White and the Fever organization don't have her back. I'm out, won't be watching.
And listen to how the fans themselves say it, because they are not being subtle about it. All I wanted this year was to watch Caitlin play basketball. I'm out, won't be watching. That is the whole relationship in 3 sentences. These viewers did not sign up to be fans of a franchise or fans of a league in some general way. They signed up for one specific person, and when that person sits, their interest sits with her. Now, you can call that shallow if you want. Real sports fans stick with the team, right? But from a business point of view, it does not matter if it is shallow. It only matters if it is real. And a lot of empty seats and 600,000 missing viewers say it is very, very real. There is also a question the team keeps quietly avoiding.
Coach White's post-game outrage doesn't excuse her failure to protect star player on the court. Wish they would tell us more about her back. Is it chronic or due to an injury? Back problems are not minor injuries. Indeed so, Hallie. But the thing is, if they were to be honest with us and upfront about what the severity of the injury is, well, then they're losing potential people buying tickets.
Watch what the organization will not say. Fans are asking a completely fair question. Is this back problem something ongoing, or is it just a one-time thing? How serious is it really? And the answers keep staying vague. Now, here is the uncomfortable theory, and it is worth saying even though we cannot prove it. Vagueness sells tickets. If the team came out and clearly said she was going to miss a lot of time, then what happens? Every ticket left for every home game becomes harder to sell overnight. Every maybe she plays keeps a little hope alive, and hope helps sell tickets. I am not saying that is a fact. There is no memo. No one has confirmed a plan like that, and it may simply be that they are protecting private medical information, which they fully have the right to do. But you can understand why fans get suspicious when the people who directly benefit from you buying a ticket are also the only people who know how hurt the player really is, and they choose to stay quiet. And back problems, by the way, are usually not the kind of thing that goes away in one night. Fans know that too. It feeds right back into the mood in these comments.
My status, out till CC returns. Caitlin is out. Think I'll check out an evening movie. An evening movie. Damn. She needs to immediately walk away. I wouldn't want to play in this league either. Why watch then? Give us a reason. Wow. If CC is out, so am I. Wow. Wow.
Now watch the mood turn sour, because this is where it moves past just, I miss Clark, into something the league should truly worry about. Fans are not only saying they will skip tonight, some are saying they are done until she comes back. Some are planning to see a movie instead, and a few are going even further and saying she should leave the whole situation behind completely. Now, that last part is raw emotion speaking, not a realistic result. She is under contract, she is the face of the sport, and nobody is leaving. But the feeling underneath that reaction is the dangerous part. When your most valuable audience starts tying its loyalty to one player and its frustration to the organization around her, you have a fan base that sees the star and the franchise as two different things, and they have chosen the star's side. That is a risky place for any team to be, because the moment fans decide the institution is the obstacle between them and the player they love, every vague injury update, every promotion, and every coaching decision gets viewed in the worst possible way. And you can watch that happening in real time. Meanwhile, the ticket market keeps telling the same story.
Then we got tickets, folks. Look, you got some cheaper tickets on the ends over here. $37 to sit in section 12, $28 to sit in section 12, $11 to sit in 37, $33 to sit in section 13, $35 to sit in section 3. You have affordable tickets not selling.
Look at these prices again, because the details tell the story better than any take could. $37, $28, $33 for a nice seat near the front. These are not nosebleed seats. Some of these are truly good sections, priced like a fast casual dinner, and they are still just sitting there. And here is the context that makes it even stranger. This is Las Vegas. This is a building that usually sells tickets, a market that usually shows up. The home team even has its own superstar in A'ja Wilson, who the coverage itself admits is arguably the best player in the whole league. So this is not some small market quiet crowd on a random Tuesday. This is a major franchise in an event city on national TV, and the market has basically shrugged. When you take away that one visiting player, even a real championship-level home team, and a proven ticket town cannot create the demand. That is not an insult to Wilson. She is a true generational star. It is a measure of just how unique the Clark effect has become, and the resale market makes it even harder to argue against.
Building, and you even check Ticketmaster. Tons of tickets available in Ticketmaster. $79, $122, $78. So this is these tickets are more expensive on Ticketmaster. However, when you look at StubHub, $28, $37, $29, $35, amazing seat.
Here's the sign that really proves it. On the main ticket site, tickets are listed at $70,000, $120, and $78. But when you switch to the resale market, seats in the same building are going for $28, $35, and $37. For seats the listings themselves call amazing. When resale prices crash below face value, that is the clearest warning sign in the whole ticket world. It means people who already bought in, season ticket holders, speculators, and people who grabbed tickets expecting to resell them for a profit, are now trying to get rid of those seats for whatever they can get. And even at a loss, nobody is buying. That is not just weak demand. That is a market actively trying to escape. And think about who gets hurt there. The small reseller who saw the Clark boom, assumed every ticket in this league was now gold, bought a group of seats for this game, and is now taking the loss because the one name that made those tickets valuable is not on the court. The boom created a small bubble of people betting on Clark being available every night. Tonight, part of that bubble is quietly popping in real time. So what should you actually be watching for tonight?
Selling. They're just not selling. So I'm interested. I'm very interested to see what these ratings are going to look like. I'm interested if we see any videos, any pictures of if the building's full, if the building's not full. Do a lot of these tickets sell out later? Again, no Caitlin Clark is enough of a reason not to watch. But you don't even have the best player on the other team either.
There are two numbers that will tell the real story, and both of them show up after everything happens. First, the crowd. Watch whether that building really fills up, or whether the cameras keep showing empty spots in those cheap sections all night. And watch whether a sudden rush of tickets gets sold very late, at the last minute, because that would tell you people waited to see if she would somehow get cleared. Second, and this is the big one, the overnight rating. Coming into tonight, A fair guess is somewhere below 1.5 million, and the question is how far below? Does it end up in the low millions, or does it fall toward that 1.2, 1.1 range that would truly shake the network that gave up baseball for this? Because here is what one weeknight does not prove by itself. Nothing. Stars get hurt. One game is one game. But this is not happening by itself. It is the ticket collapse, and the resale collapse, and the ratings drop, and the fans leaving, all pointing the same way on the same night, which leads straight to the thing this whole league would rather you did not say out loud.
Arguably the best player in the league, she's not even playing either. There's like no storyline. The best player on the floor tonight is going to be Kennedy Carter. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Like the video, hype the video, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me.
So here is the real takeaway, the one hiding under all the empty seats and cheap tickets. The coverage gets to it almost by accident. No, Clark. The best player on the court tonight is Kennedy Carter, and there is basically no storyline. Sit with that phrase for a second. No storyline. A game between two real franchises, and one of them has an MVP-level star in A'ja Wilson. And the honest view is that without one specific guard, there is no reason for a casual fan to watch. That is the whole point in one sentence. This was never really just a story about one back injury or one slow ticket night. It is a story about a league that got the biggest gift in its history. A real crossover superstar who brought millions of brand new eyes to the sport, and then depended so much on her being available that one night off shows how weak the foundation underneath really is. That is not a reason to celebrate, and it is not a reason to make fun of the league. If anything, it is a warning. The smart move here is to use the Clark spotlight to build other stars that people will keep watching when she rests, because injuries and rest nights are not optional. They are guaranteed. The big question is whether they are really doing that or just taking the money while things are going well. So I will ask you this. Is tonight a one-time blip that means nothing? Or is it the first real crack showing in the Caitlin Clark economy? Tell me where you stand in the comments. If this helped break it down for you, like the video and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.